quien nos va a dar la charla ahora esta mañana. Sí, él es profesor de Química del Suelo en la Washington University, en la Universidad de China Central, la traducción al español. Y bueno, él hizo su post. Bueno, antes de contarle un poco sobre su carrera, le digo más o menos las posiciones que tiene ahora. Él es el director de la Facultad de Recursos Naturales y Medio Ambiente en esa universidad, y también director de un State Key Laboratory, un laboratorio clave o algo así de los que tienen en China. Es como si fuera el director de la facultad y director también del instituto de Microsurgo o algo por el estilo. ¿Sí? Tiene una capacidad de trabajo enorme, ha obtenido premios en varios lados internacionales y en China también. Por ejemplo, a ver acá que tengo colocado, porque si no, ustedes van a leer un poco también. El premio científico joven de excelencia, Outstanding Scientist in China, cuando era joven. Luego, científico top 100 de China por la Academia Nacional de China. Después, figura notable, los científicos notables del último siglo por la Academia Nacional de Ciencia y del Ministerio de Educación de China. O sea que tenía un premio muy importante a nivel de China. Él hizo el postdoctorado, hizo su doctorado, yo dije PhD en China, en Wuhan. Él hizo el postdoctorado en China, el doctorado en China y el postdoctorado en Holanda. Y yo justamente lo conozco a él porque hemos tenido el mismo director de postdoctorado. Nunca nos cruzamos en Holanda porque yo soy bastante más viejo que él. Pero después nos empezamos a encontrar en los congresos y lo conozco más o menos desde 2008 en Kioto, como presidente en Kioto, en Japón, en nuestro primer congreso, y desde ahí somos buenos amigos y somos colaboradores. Pasen.
Hay lugar, chicos, sí. Acá.
Y bueno, personalmente, es un gran amigo y tiene una capacidad de trabajo enorme. Tanto que, por ejemplo, él y su grupo se han movido hace unos años y han conseguido que en Wuhan ahora, en 4 o 5 años, tengan un ciclotrón. Se va a instalar un ciclotrón en Wuhan, especialmente para materia orgánica, para elementos livianos, carbono, óxido, hidrógeno y esas cosas. O sea que va a ser muy importante y vamos a tener un buen contacto para el ciclotrón. Bueno, pueden explicar los riesgos con él. Nos va a hacer una breve introducción sobre su ciudad, su universidad y después con su profesión.
Sí, sí.
So first, thanks to the Professor Marcelo introduce myself, and also thanks to the Professor Avilo,
Thanks.
and also thanks to all the people come here for my talking, not the presentation. So they just introduced my university, my department, and also about my research. Because just as Marcelo said, 2008, we made the keto for the conference. And then several times, first time with my university, allow for me, first time here, it's a very beautiful country and also beautiful city, Lanka. And Barcelona is not only a good partner and good research, and it also very good friends. Thank you for very good organizing and invited here, and also thank you to the visual. So everything perfect. So first, I will introduce my university briefly. So just talking about scientific activity science presentation. So Huarong, the meaning in Chinese, the central channel is very simple. So we from this Wuhan, the China, the eastern China, from Wuhan to Shanghai, and from Shanghai flight roughly 13 hours to the Amsterdam. From Amsterdam, stay 2 hours and move the route areas, and so 14 hours, and then move back Lanka. So it's totally long distance. It's roughly 2,500 kilometers. So it can be different day and night, not the day, only the night. And also the season different, the winter, not the winter. It's very hot in summer, so when we reach the 40 degrees, it's very, very high. So it's this, and this all over the land, and all this all over the sea. So first I'd like to introduce my city, and the Wuhan city. I just very short movie, roughly 2 minutes.
Every day, the Jinhan Customs Clock Center, like that of the Shanghai Customs House,
echoes the melodies of Westminster Abbey, reminding us of the many vicissitudes she has witnessed over the years. Impressive as it may be, the magnificent toll of the bell cannot be heard in every home of Grand Wuhan.
This is
The
young
city of
group.
Wuhan consists of 3 towns, which are divided by 2 rivers. It spreads out across an area of 8,494 square kilometers. Of course, its large size alone is not what makes this city great. Fresh water, a resource globally considered to be exceptionally valuable in the 21st century, makes up 25% of the city. Daniel Clemens, a world-famous racer from Luxembourg, once told local reporters excitedly that the road running along the East Lane was the most beautiful track he had ever run. Wuhan, with a population of over 10 million, is located in central China at the heart of China. Like the Tianyuan Point on a Weiqi board, the city's geopolitical significance makes it an important point, one definitely capable of changing the game and affecting the big picture. Optics Valley of China, located here in Wuhan, represents the highest level of optoelectronics research and production in China. It ranks first globally for the scale of its optical fiber and cable production operations. The relationship between Optics Valley and Silicon Valley, as well as the relationship between Wuhan and Chicago, are part of the larger Twin Valleys, Twin Cities Cooperation Plan. National strategy examines and identifies advantages and talents. Wuhan has more institutes of higher education and students than any other city in the world. With approximately 80 universities and 1.3 million students, there is truth to the statement. Only Hubei's got talent.
Okay, this is about Wuhan. Now I move to my university. My campus is Wuhan, and close to the campus is an 500 hectare, and it includes roughly 300 hectare field and laboratory, and 1.2 million square meter building area, including teaching and the dormitory space. So this history of my university is start from the Qing Dynasty. It founded the Hubei farming school by the Zhang Zedong, the Qing Dynasty, 1898, just now the 125 years old. And now 1952 is started by as a agricultural college, and this time we know renamed to the Huadong Agricultural University. So 2000 directed administered by the Ministry of Education China, and also 2005 and 2017 elected to the National Double First Class Initiative. So university with the distinction or the National K University is one of the 75 universities administered developed by the Chinese Ministry of Education. The national rank roughly 30 to 40, the very university ranking 2022, and especially in the life science and agriculture science, it top 3. And also international ranking roughly 300 to 400. So is it? Sorry. Earth science. So extra science maybe the 19th. Our university has more than 3,000 staff, include the 1,300 faculty members, and also have the 4 academicians, just such as the National USA, Academic Sciences, and also from the development world, and also the Russia Academic Science, and also have the 4 creative research groups of the National Natural Science Foundation China. And one student, 3,200 full-time students, roughly undergraduate, roughly 2,000 undergraduate, master's 1,000. And for the doctor students, roughly 3,000, and the internet students more than 500, and also some minority students. We have the 17 college with doctorate degree 16 program, and also master's degree program 27, and undergraduate program 63. So it's a comprehensive research arranged at the university with key strands in agriculture and life science. So discipline ranks about we have the 5 disciplines is under the double first class initiative. It is also in the top 19 nationwide, and also have the 12 discipline and is as top 1%, whether according to the ESI, especially to the round and mid-size, agri-size is the top 1,000. And also for the chemistry and agriculture science, environment, and ecology was the top 10, top 1%. We have different research studios, such as the National Clean Laboratory of the Global Genetic Improvement, and another about agriculture microbiome, and the third one is National Clean Laboratory for the demand innovation and the utilization of horticultural crops, and also some national engineering research center of the rapeseed and for oil, and also national research center of the micropeptide, just for the agriculture. We have the very good international cooperation. Now, university has signed cooperation agreement with more than 160 universities, and also over the 50 countries and regions for deep cooperation with high quality in various fields. And now is a major activity in the international dimension, such as student faculty exchange, and also joint PhD master bachelor program, joint laboratory science research project, and invited lectures in the national conference for the inter-program. So they just very briefly cover my university. And the next one, to the quality of my resource and the environment. I was in charge of this quality. My background is soil chemistry. So we all college set up in the 1948. And now is 75 years. The first department agriculture chemistry, so also related to chemistry, and then moved to the department of soil and agrochemistry. Now it's moved to the resource and environment. This is the founder of the Chen, and it passed the graduate from the Cambridge University. So now we have more than 300 students since from the 1948, different bachelor degree, master and doctorate degree, and adult education. We have the total students more than 2,000, and the undergraduate 2,100, grade students and very close to 1,000. Its ratio is 1.4 to 1. So I have a different bachelor, master, and PhD degree, such as the PhD degree is ecology and agricultural resource and environment, and also master degree such as environment, especially environmental chemistry, environmental engineering, ecology engineering, and also include very nice such as the geographic information system. Are also very nice the major such as national major agricultural resource and environment, and the professional major environmental science and chemistry. So we have 4 departments. The first one is we are nutrition, and then ecology and environmental science and engineering, and also resource environment information engineering. Now we have the more than 52 staffs, including professors 38. We have more than 20 teaching and research groups, such as the soil chemistry, environment, and the soil biochemistry, soil and water conservation, soil chemistry, soil physics, and the nutrition management, and soil fertility, and also such the environmental ecology, so different. With research direction and focus on the improve the quality of soil and the agriculture and the rural environment, carry out research in macro dissemination of the soil, crop, and the environment, and also based on the need of the ecology environment and the architectural development in Yangtze River base, and also save the storing green on the ground and storing green on the technology and the national ecology civilization development strategy, and also focus on the soil health, while the protecting utilization of soil, segment green plain and the nutrition management, survive the green restoration and build of countryside construction, duration and quality monitoring and the evaluation. So about the technical utilization of soil is impacting environmental regulation and the separation of the soil quality, and then establish the multi-objective quality evaluation system for the carbon land utilization. And the next line is green plant and nutrition management, such as green and efficient fertilization creation and green planting system and resource utilization and farmland nitrogen and phosphorus cycle and the environmental effects. And so on green restoration and especially for the remediation of chemical and organic pollutants in farmland, just focus in farmland, and all reduce technology of the farmland non-point source pollution, and then also comprehensive utilization of the agriculture waste. Last one is the eco-environmental quality monitoring and evaluation, such as the detailed supervision of the production processes, such as soil survey, soil nutrition, non-destructive monitor, and agricultural ground integrate smart monitoring network. So that's the hope to the healthy soil, green planting, green farming, harmonies between the land and nature. So actually, achievement about since 2016, we founded roughly very close to 500 mini Chinese yuan, and also have the more than 20 professional and ministry level reward, and more than 1,200 scientific publication, and also more than 120 patents. Now we are going to have the national provision network, such as from the nation key network of soil health and green restoration, and we charge this kind of network and the national state network agriculture microbiology, and also the cross-general improvement, and also include the agriland conservation from the Ministry of the Agriculture and Rural Affairs, and also per province about the engineering network for new type of laser. Now we also have the China Australia research network on one biological chemistry. So we also realize the equipment for the research, such as IPC mass, and also some isotope mass spectral. The ecology center network has more than 4,000 sets of the instruments, and with total value more than 500 mini channels. So in the campus, we have some of the teaching and the research field, this kind of about soil and fertilizer, and this is a greenhouse. Now we have the international relationship long-term cooperation exchange, such that US, China, Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. I hope so. Next time also China with the US. So this kind of cooperation with Alabama, Yamagata, and the West Chile, and so some for the Chinese science and the classes. We have the very good internet conference, such as the IP conference, ISMO, and the one badger country, and the China 21 badger country, and the born nutrition and animal plants. So some of the professors in the world, such as from the Nepal, and also the Marcelo Brandt is from the Ivy University. He is the governor of the province. Is a champion of the prize. And also you could exchange some of the every year more than 100 students go abroad for study, And this is a conference in the IAP with Marcelo, this is football. And this Soria, and this me with the summer school. And this at conference is my students Xu in get the award, post award, and also Asia Green Economy Formula, so different activity. So I just very well aware of my university. Just show about some my campus is also a very beautiful campus. So this spring, summer, now it's summer. So my campus around the three sides of the water, only one side you can reach the campus.
Che campo dell'università.
We have the here, May, this is my building, and this is my office. It's a library. The museum. And this is the field for research. Greenhouse. The color of the cancer zone. This is oil receipt. This is a dormitory for students. So you can also fish in the lake. Okay, that's all. So this is my first class for the working use my university and my college. Thank you. I'm going to the next. So next one, I would like to roughly introduce our cooperation with Professor Marcelo, National Science Foundation of China, College. So the focus the soil degradation by intensive land use and the ecology regulation. So in China, I just in China, the Chinese side and maybe the African side. Like this time I will move to the Pampas grassland to see how about the soil situation. So I have the three units involved: my university and Marcelo, and also China Academic Sciences Institute of Soil and Water Conservation. So three sections. The first background of the bio-study intensive learning in Yangtze River Basin, and then we like to how to do it, and another and the soil health improvement technology based on the ecological regulation. So why we studied this area in the Yangtze River Basin is the region with the highest intensive land use in the world. You can see the heavy the color, so will be much more the macro cropping area. And this is about the Yangtze River. So you can see the dark crop system in Southeast and Southeast Asia is very important. And this condition you can see is also this area is densely populated and also intensive agriculture area in China. So how the Yangtze River basin, this area, very central from the west to east, and very important for the population and also very important for the agriculture. So reached 224 million tons in 2014, so roughly around 7.2% of world total grain yard, and also very close to 40% of the Chinese grain yard. Under this condition, you can have the serious pressure of the soil and the environment. So at this condition, you can double and triple cropping system in the Yangtze River, not give the soil nutrition. So when nutrition is loose into the ground in the ponds, and also lose some this kind of the nitrogen phosphorus during the wet dry season rotation, and both the serious environmental risk. So some the more and the nitrogen and the phosphorus work into Yangtze River. So you can see from the Yangtze River, the DIN dissolved in organic nitrogen, and also nitrogen consumption is very agreement. So much more additional nitrogen, and at least this nitrogen into water, and also the fertilizer also increased from the 1970s and then to the 2010. You can see all increase addition of the fertilizer, and this condition for the positive correlation with the input of the chemical fertilizer. So under this condition, much more nitrogen or phosphorus into the soil and lastly into water, and as a series for the Yangtze River. So what the food province is very important for the citrus. Citrus is very special. The orange juice is and made up the 63% of the fruit plant area and 75% of the total fruit yard. So this area is very important for China. And also this kind of the citrus is the key industrial for farmer wells and also has products, improve the quality of life. But however, citrus plant much serious for the high additional of the chemical fertilizer. So this is high intensive agriculture production and the negative pattern. So as this kind of things is intensive, where the no soil biodiversity and is sustainable, which is a high soil biodiversity. So this Marcelo also with this area, you can see area the city is area. So from the river level and also roughly to 700 meters. And so high is a small mountain, so area is a city. So it's a very important ecosystem monoculture made the biodiversity reduce. And this condition and need more the pesticide and serious organic pollution, and also is very heavy planting, so no soil organic matter, and also hardening of the soil surface, and then acidification and soil erosion. So serious non-point sources pollution. This side is Yangtze River, so much more this kind of erosion to the Yangtze River. So we were thinking about production decline and quantity loss, population aggravation. How to do it? We can improve soil skills and give the ecological regulation and not like green development. So this 2020, the World Soil Day, the keep soil alive, protecting soil biodiversity. So give the good idea how to think about it. So focus on the evolution of the biodiversity in registered soil, emphasize the cultivation of the healthy soil aggregates and the reduction of the agricultural chemical, so less addition of the chemical fertilizer. So we also utilize a soil engineering approach, improve citrus fruit, and quality, and last promote sustainable and environment-friendly industrial development. We have the research contents for items. The first assessment of soil ecology functions and the service in cities watches, and the soil structure, degradation, and the restoration in cities watches. And then we like about some the organic pollution, such as absorption, migration, and the transformation of typical pesticides. That's individual water soil. And last, we like the prediction of the regulation of ecological security in cities watches in the province. So, like for the local area. That's okay. You can soil propagate of the orchards planting, and this is nature forest. So it's a very typical. So pH roughly 8. So pH around 8 is a slightly alkaline or very close to neutral. But 5 years planting of the citrus, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you can see the pH decrease greatly. So for the agriculture, you when the pH reaches the pH 5, and then the plant is a great problem to planting. So you can see when the especially 20 years they reach the 4.2 and the certain pH 4. So third corner for the acid. So long-term citrus plant cause soil acidification and the conversion of the nutrients. So much more the phosphorus and the potassium, and also like the nitrogen much higher in the normal. But we can do very simple to do this control, this 5 years plant citrus with this control, and also intercropping peanuts. And then you can see slightly overcloud same, but with the straw cover, just straw cover, very simple the technology, you can reach the pH 5.6. It's very good, and also soil organic carbon is also reached 2%. It's much better. And when we study the water soil, how about the soil, the biodiversity? You can see this is the natural 5 years control. This 15 years old citrus, peanuts, and straw additional. The 3 years so different. You can see after with the planting time, you can see this kind of the what function you need to carbon cycle is decreased, and also kind of this nitrogen and phosphorus cycle is increased, and also the diversity is of increase, but with this kind is slightly increase and recover. And especially for this kind of for the nitrogen cycle is kind of the how to say is ammonic oxide bacteria. Normally OAOB is very popular, and also the COMOX just 2016 find in the first time find in the ocean, but now also find in all the plant area. You can see the two different. So new water soil is traditional ammonium oxide bacteria makes this always very important. But when 10 years old, and this kind of the complex ammonium oxide bacteria will be start and last occupied with 30 years the box. So it's also for the very important nitrogen cycle with different types of the microbiome. And we got the different technology improve the spatial evaluation, such as neutralization efficient of different level or under rules. So different rules and this kind of soil being with together and so they fix the nitrogen and then we use a different space of the nutrition and different grass. We can get a different. We can reduce the pesticides and the disease and the soil erosion. And last, I also get some of the different types, such as the citrus, winter where sea grape, and the summer green manure, and the bean keeper. You can see with the bean, and so they say it's very good for the ecology, and also the farmer can get more money. And last, how to exist the service. So the intention that they also improve the biodiversity of the conform to the climate change Now we also use rice fish farming, as you remember this one, and also for the breeding and the ecology regulation. And last, we would like to ecological compensation and reduce yield, reduce soil, alter the atmosphere, and last, human health. So also this project will address ecology and the social need of the performance, and so provides the soil health technology based on ecological regulation and intensive and improve the quality of the efficiency of the further industry. And not only will develop the soil pollution assessment and green regulation. And last, to promote ecology, environmental certification, and agriculture green development in Yangtze River zone. So this is just a very short for about the joint project. They studied from Foundation of China and the research. So it's just from the Chinese side, and Marcel, you could work about the absorption on the surface of the mineral and the human substance. So now I'm going to move the interface and chemistry. So I would like to talk about the it's also my major, but not it's not a full story, just a simple story, very short. And the interfacial reaction also components and in one effect. So have five. So first is the background. How about the soil colloid? Because it's the chemistry, so many is also about the colloid. And the soil colloid is by different soils from the pure colloid. And then what a mineral transformation and then the activity such as the metal binding to mineral and how the modeling, and also human substance reactive and the modeling. Then what the interaction between mineral and substance. And this work, especially the master theory in the Wengen, I remember very excellent work in the nuclear compound laboratory, and the master instantiation of metal in multi-complex. So first I would like to say this kind of a picture because we will see soil very complex and say use a cell body, and this kind of cell body is very look at similar as to the soil complex. This soil vertical, the fungi, and the 500 years ago, and also the So also say our knowledge of the soil on the feet is far less than our understanding of the movement of the vast sensitive bodies. So you can see the other soil, so human species, and also very complex reaction such as the physical, chemical, and biological. So soil interface process include the root onward interface about some of the new enzyme, nitrogen phosphates, and also carbon. And the root soil interface, such that kind of the and also soil water interface become different, such as iron, manganese, and the carbon to reduce. How about it? This kind of electric charge and the nutrition pollutant should be different. But like the improve gets the healthy soil, so reach the soil organic carbon and also put in one cycle and gets the very good soil aggregate and rich biological community and thus multi effect as environment, as ecological as food, and thus has life. To 2015's International Years of Soil has life for healthy soils for healthy life. So this soil growth and interface chemistry will also soil pattern affect the create zone of the S, and the soil particle include human substance and different oxide and also silica, and also different microbes such as oxidate include so form the soil particle. So it formed a very complicated multi-interface, especially is soil mineral organometal micro interaction is play an important role on so many such as the environmental circle. So soil colloid is the most important active components in soil and touch the air layer throughout the soil profile due to fine particle, so act as messengers in the transformation to connect microscopic phenomenon and the microscopic economy soil, and also its contents are evolved far more than their contents. So we will control this soil particle, how to change to soil micro interface process from the absorption, desorption, and the redox, and the dissolution, precipitation, control the nutrition and contaminants. We will make the fertilizer decline to increase nutrient imbalance to balance and the soil erosion to remediation and last from the soil degradation to the soil health. So from the last 10 years, we focus this kind of stuff research. So fix the iron oxides, mineral oxides, soil, organometal, and all include some microbiome. We focus on the sensory activity such as total elements, absorption properties, and also structure size, and look at the self-heterogeneity metrics. Absorption mechanism, we get a model, and last, by using meta-analysis, machine learning for life cycle assessment, and last we can get a different probability. And then when micromechanism to the macroscopic process, last we want the effect. So this just will focus on speciation distribution and how about the environmental condition change, pH, ice trans concentration causes the ion redox. And at the last interface process, such as the chemical speciation modeling, ZAPS, ITC, species analysis, and that's the bioavailability and the mobility. So you may sometimes use the binary system special model, such as the Nicodulan, like the GM, where we get the copy, and the minerals, such as we use the CD music and the Nisha, where we use this copy. And now we'll talk about the ternary system. So ternary system much more such the oxides, such as substance together and some hammer together. They will be just the linear additivity rules and just a class or minor. And then we use the LCD model, nitrogen charge distribution model, gets the interactive calculation, and that's a complex novel case. And then we can get this kind of this figure from the EP. So, and then move to the how about the linear transformation, such as part of the next material. So this kind of the soil surface, we can surface and manganese or iron normally in the culture of the surface, and also some substance on the surface. And very important, this is the polarization microscope, and from the 3 to 2 reduce and oxidation. And this time, and for the ferrous, very important is the electron shaft. So from the ferrous hydride plus Fu ferrous will be negative peroxide, and continue the ferrous additional and between to the goethite. Use directly monitor the ferrous and directly from the ferrous hydride to the goethite. And then for the soil, you not only the ferrous or the ferric, and also include some of the organometal, such as from the roots, the mechanical substance, and the oxidase, and the EPS from the microbiome. You can see different organometal can have the different morphology of the iron oxide, such as humic acid, like gold, and ascorbic acid is like the meat, and for this EPS, like the big ball, and tartaric acid, you like the corn, like the very much more the safe. Whereas my pole. So for these conditions, this kind of the X state is one side is reduced to the ferric to the first, and gets the effect shot. And also next molecular temper gets a different morphology of the oxides. And then how the directly for the fungi or such as the microbial makes the transformation of the mineral. This fungi initial catalyzes the reaction at the high phase mineral in phase from the oxide cycling. So this 512 is like a different part, have a different redox potential. So have a different in potential, and then will be reduced condition is different. And for this one, you can see another that will be like the Fenton or Fenton-like reaction with the iron. We also use the K edges and micro XRF. So how the reactivity? Reactivity is just a megapore size, very important. It's just helping the GCA. It's a different pore, especially for the ferrihydride, different pore, and this pore is very important. Just we can see cluster line micropore, and have the different pore have different charge, and this different charge it will be much more for the this kind of arsenic or arsenic, so totally different. And this one, the pore crystalline ferrihydride has an abundant vacancy class like micropore and provide additional atomic size only able to oxidate arsenate. And then how about the oxygen vacancy defect? More and more sparse defect from the sparse and the mortar and abundant and the absorption ability increase. I also use the DFT calculator. We can get how about the bonding on the surface. So we established the available approach to measure oxygen vacancy concentration in habitat. This is habitat for the learning require quality contribution to the arsenate mineralization. And then also how about use the iron oxide and monomer oxide together, how to remove the arsenate. Because for the arsenate, for the monomer oxide will be oxide, and for the iron oxide will be absorption. So when the hematite and the monomer together will be a synergistic effect. So for improve the remove. And when the ferrihydride members is antagonistic effect, so it's just reverse, so different. And this different depend on the ferrihydride because much more energy saves the area. So when the addition of the mineral oxides will be some of the cells occupied by the mineral oxide, so will be increase the move. So this is reactive. So also about the mineral modeling initial temperature protein. Next up the human substance. And this kind of substance we can say also the modeling and GM will be from the general unit acid biochar and also reducing human substance. So I want to talk about the human substance, how to conjugation with the protein, and this one I first studied in Wengen and moved back home and also continued the study. So we will study the protein natural organic interaction because protein important role in the biochemical cycle and also some of the pathogenic function of the protein throughout the sediment, such as insecticide, protein toxin, and also genetic plants, also BS and protein when binding to the soil particle or natural particle, such as the modified protein structure, and then change biological activity affect protein transport, and that's necessary to micro degradation. So first, how about the binding together? So you can this thing, this is just the charge, This is the pure human substance charge, and this one is a protein charge. So we just the calculation according to the charge. We can see when the low pH below the pH 8, and the calculation and the experiment is the same, but more than pH 8 and different. So at this one you can see no pH, you can control by inverse static, and for the high pH by the hydrophobic. So we can use this equivalent. I can get a different binding mechanism. This is about the protein charge interaction. And then how about the heating? We use the ISTC to get some of the heat. It's a titration of the magnesium with the purified additive humus acid. So for magnesium is the IEP roughly 10.4 and the human substance always negative charge. So you can see this reach the IEP where the heat very close to zero and different strengths as different. So you can say it's very important attraction and also most fluoride binding site first occupied and then near the IEP entropy drive process and thus the increased strength electrostatic attraction reduced so to move the aside. And how the side change? You can reuse the dynamic mass gradient with the titration of the protein. You can get the different. So this side is this this is the negative charge, the positive charge, different ratio, and the gravitational particle. So with the addition of the human substance inside, so you can first slightly increase and very close the IEP increase greatly when the reach IEP gets a large particle, so roughly 3,000 nanometer. And different pH slightly different, and for pH 8, so they move to another side. So you can see soluble complex aqueous around IEP and stability against the aggregation at lower strength. So at last, beyond the IEP, very interesting, or will be this average. So we get the next phase. So the pure magnesium and just one third is reach the charge at the IEP. So you complex, then reach the IEP, the aggregate. So big one, and then much more net charge addition of the system, and then set the particle, and particle will be separate. So the particle reduce, particle size reduce. So it's just a partly reverse interaction. It's very interesting from the TM image. You can see the pure and the magnesium, and one third you can nullify. But reach the IEP with the string twist, and with the 500 nanometer. So it's very interesting. Until now, I don't like to form this kind of image. So how the activity change? When the addition of the give them a mass ratio, you can see at first will be the higher, and the addition of the human substance inside when it decrease, when they reach the IEP, this area is the bottom, and then reach the steady. But for the acid, it's very different from the human substance. Human acid, because much smaller, so it's no hydrophobic and the particle mass. So it's no effect on the magnesium activity than the human acid. So they just also different protein. This is just show magnesium. I will say urea and the phosphate next example. After the results are different. So I'm more about the interaction between human substance and the mineral. So this carbon in the natural S environment, so gets different binding, such as Kershin bridge and hydrogen bonding and hydrophobic interaction. So now it's just only quantitative description and make a process quantification. So how to process, how to get the different nuclear position. So this from Yin and the sample page said with the Martin University, you can say different and how the effect. And this is KC4 and sodium chloride and 1 kilometer goethite. So Fa constant is is not changed, and the human acid is changed. So you can see from this one is the absorption of the human acids on the surface of the goethite much higher, almost reach the 2 milligram per square meter. And this one, if we additional of the Fa, you can see absorption of the human acid much decrease greatly. So Fa effect important. So in the nature soil and almost next is DOC, you will see the function. For the reverse, for the Fa change and Ha constant, you can affect not much. Let's say, so conductivity ability Fa much higher than the Ha. So also we random space invitation, and for this one is the heavy acid is much bigger, and for this one is fat acid is much smaller. So this one was fifth box, and then still occupy space on the checkboard. And for this one, much more maybe some we will do some phosphates, and phosphates much smaller. Why we can have this kind of the result? You can see distribution of the human substance in W for Fa, mostly just interval, and for half and half Fe for F2, and for the He which the much bigger. This one difference gives a much longer where you get the function and this kind of function. But for the lower, it's very close to the fat acid, Fa. So this is why what's a different result. So how the interaction between the human acid and the mineral is from Dafeng and this field. If you're interested, I also myself taught how to use this kind of the HR and 2D course. The different. Very interestingly, result you can find the lower fraction of the human acid are focused on the surface of the outside, but higher fraction like this is focused on the surface neocyanic mineral, because it's an aromatic ring and the calcium function group is very important. And then how about the change? Garnet and goethite are different. And for this one, absorption on the surface and Fa, you can see, because for the garnet is very special, because one side is the edge, one side is the base. So roughly reach the max in the pH 5.5. And for the goethite, always with the increase of the pH, the increase of the negative charge. So all the works decrease. So this is a different charge. And how the surface gets different information. For the fraction of Fa remains of the H phase and oxygen phase as in the sphere complex and on the garnet. And for the goethite, mostly the out space complex. And also Fa 2 types on the garnet, and oxygen phase and the H phase, and while only one side on the goethite. That also have the different size. But for the garnet, only this one type is very important, and is higher portions. So we use the IGC and absorption maximum to get a different amount, Hubble amount binding. So we can see from the low pH to high pH, you can see a different bond. For this one, you can nitrogen exchange, and you have static attraction drive the absorption on the H phase roughly 1/3, and hydrophobic intakes absorption on the oxygen phase. So this only the hydrophobic, and this one is 1/3 on the nitrogen exchange and the static attraction. So get a different information. So let's have a speciation of the heavy metal in multi-complex, and this will show show the special metal on the cells of mineral and the bacterial complex by using XIF and the immune syndrome. So you can see for the higher loading of the needle metal, you can see very important. This carbohydrate is very important. Roughly the 66% of the hydrate, the pure just 1/3. And you see this is a high concentration of the metal. When they reach the no high concentration of the metal, you can see very important is a carbohydrate. This is bacteria, so bacteria is very important. And much more, this 4:1, this ratio of the carbohydrate and the bacteria, and then is still very important for the bacteria. So when it's the rare condition, different concentration of the metal will be binding different components of soil, so that no will be binding to the organic matter such as the bacteria. The higher concentration of metal binding to the mineral. So this got a different information. This binding to the bacteria and cell, and this binding the carbohydrate. So like the multi-components, how to about the linear addition rules, gold type, chemical substance, and PB needle. And you can see just the addition rule. This model is far from the real experiment. So you can see on the estimate of the needle binding at no PB level and no pH. So fail to the accurate equation of the higher PB and chemical acid levels. So just so different. And what's happened? Because for the linear additivity rules, only think about the metal onto the oxide, and also metal onto the function group of the humus acid. But really, the interaction we think about interaction between the gold type and the substance. So as this condition, just the additional of this equation and then calculation. Because the ELC model can get very good. So this is the model, and this one, and also you can see this different, and this is different. At the low level, the most only the chain bridge, and this one is very important. But for the high level, and then this one you can see gold type on the surface is very important. And then move the bridge and the human substance. So it's very typical, and this classical model for the acid model is totally different. And just the calculation, I'm not sure it's correct or not. We use the same term to confirm how the result. You can see this condition results on the surface of the substance is almost 10% and 9% on the gold type. But model calculation just almost close, roundly close. And for this condition, 16, 40, and very same. But when we at this condition, the lower concentration of the metal. So this condition, we calculate have some the bridge. So for the Zap's syndrome, couldn't obtain this kind of information. So this bridge, they bind into the on surface of the human substance. So it's different. So this is a modern and symptom is different, but the calculation is very good for the real situation. So we have to face the real soil. We just the mixture with the human substance and oxides. We use this kind of very double shine mine. You use a CS pollution from Guangdong province in the north of my university. We normally use the method tissue method. You can see different just and then amount level roughly like this, very high, and BB method crystalline and oxides just this time. And then I will have this side is tissue method. We use a chemical experiment, and this is a modeling calculation. You can see it's like totally different, and this side residue and more than 20%, and this one the gold type on surface. So totally different. And what's reason? And last we think about is that because we calculation not think about the residue. So we measure residue without residue lead, and then get this kind of. So for this side, very close, 50%, and then 1/3 on the surface of the organic matter. And for this one is the hybrid or such as non-crystalline, and this is a change of the crystalline on the surface. So it's everywhere with each other. So calculation and experiment is very good. But if some people do some chemical experiment, it's much complex and take much time. So when use this kind of soil, when you would like the remediation, this condition we can additional of the manganese oxide as a material. So it allows we can calculation how about the limit. Where we go. You can see 40% move to the manganese oxide. Manganese oxide always negative charge, so much stronger and have absorption and heavy metal on the surface, and then change the gravity is this side and this side gold type. But what comes this most of from organic matter. So organic matter, when organic matter adjacent to soil is good for the remediation, but it's not steady. When heavy metal bind into the mineral, might steady. So we have the open mechanism for the predictor of the minor pollutant. In the Chinese, we have the database of the soil and remediation material, then of the agricultural products, soil and environment. Very importantly, interface detection and the calculation panel, and strategy soil remediation and pollution control, and last for the engineer and for the science. The engineer just the remediation, for the science, for the application. And for use this kind of the battle, the far from the environment, trying to set up the whole aspect, alright, including the how to remediation. We also combine with the orchestra, artists, and our language. So they just, I'm not sure, it's just a pity, it's Chinese. We can get the map, and the different map we just get the soil component, and from soil component and the total concentration of the temperature, we can calculate the variation. So you just see that and you can get more information, especially in the map, and get more information. So there's a spreadsheet.
点击浏览符号信息按钮，放大堆叠图，查看样点形态分布具体信息。
So the different species. So.
收集。
This is my talking. Thanks to the Marcelo, I thank my partner, I thank my students work together, and also thanks to the Science Foundation of China and the National Key Research Development Program at the same time, and also include the influence program of the European Union. Thank you.
I'm always amazed on how you manage to work with such a complicated system as the soil is, and to get information and very good information on that. You don't work with full soil system, but you are giving us a very lot of ideas of systems to work with. For example, arsenic with mineral, humic acid with mineral, protein with mineral, polysaccharide with minerals, and mixing everything together. So we have a lot of things we can do.
Yeah. But it's question and then problem is that. Yeah.
So Well, some questions. You have some questions, yeah. Mariana.
Yeah.
Hi. First of all, thank you for your very nice talk. Sorry, my English is not good, so
Very good.
I'll try to do my best. Um, well, it's really interesting, and although this is beyond the scope of my research knowledge, it was interesting to me was the interaction between minerals and the different species, like arsenic or other heavy metals, particularly in iron systems, iron oxide systems like hematite. And I would like to know if the absorption experiments were carried out in synthetic samples or natural samples. Because I think that the different methods of preparation of the minerals affect the morphology, affect the crystallinity, the surface area, and also impacts the absorption abilities. Also, in the first, one of the first slides, I think you showed the interaction between minerals in the soil, and there's of course a high association between manganese and aluminum, I suppose, that are nutrients in high levels in soils. So sometimes the type in soil is not always pure. It's sometimes suffers isomorphic substitution. So also this is another fact that maybe could alter the historical point and stuff. Is it clear what I try to do? To say? I don't know if it's clear. Okay, thank you.
Very nice question. Also, for water, such a soil is a very problem because soil is not pure and also complex, and the compounds also interact with each other. So also, sorry. So almost the results, the first is the pure system. Pure system.
Okay.
So for the such as for the oxide and metal oxide, just
Pure and
pure.
synthetic.
Very pure. And from pure, I more like to some not too much pure, such as we shall talk about the aluminum substance, iron oxide or metal oxides. We like to much close to real soil, but not is real soil. So your human acid substance also use very pure, and we get it from soil or get it from the compounding very pure. And at first from pure, I get to give the permit, and then I mix the pure the human substance. I get to give the redox, get to give the pH, and that's much more closer to the soil, but you know the soil. So I like the how to the interaction, because the soil different components will be always the interaction. So we would like from the interaction and however situation real soil. So we would like to the interaction with some information how to binding, how to occupy of the sites, and then last I move the soil. But for the first move the soil, I'm not just a very typical soil, not all soil. All soil is very different. So I get first we start from the Wengen, just the identical linear and meeting room. I get a very typical soil. You know everything of the soil, such as the human substance, the fraction of the human substance, and the types of the minerals, some types and the amount of types, and also some the particle size. Very important is the surface area, so we can get everything, and then get some information from the pure site, the permit, move into the real soil, and so just step by step from the pure components and the interaction and not the soil, but the real soil is still slightly different from the real, but it's much close. It's just much close. It's not very safe. Thank you. Yeah.
Another question? Yeah, Carolina.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. I have two questions. The first one is regarding pesticides. Which are the most important pesticides that occur in natural waters in China? And the
Sorry.
Pesticide.
pesticides,
Pesticide.
herbicides, or maybe
Yes.
insecticides.
Yeah, percent.
And the second question is regarding how works the university regarding the PhD. If they is for free for the students, or they have fellowship, or they have to pay a fee. So I want to know about that.
Thank you. Good question. The first side, the website. We long website. We just I'm not the name the website. And first we just next master is the website. The kind of the flow is contained of the hospice.
Glyphosate.
It's just like for me it's difficult. I will website the first I detect from soil. How about percent of the percent in soil, and then I also do some dependent very close to the Marcelo and how the interaction absorption of the cells of the mineral, and also on the cells of the heavy substance and the interaction. And then now we have another conjugate do some organic solution such as
So we're learning Chinese also a little bit.
Actually kind of got the air and start together. So we just first from the soil and then move to the nectar to some pure mineral and in substance. And master we absorbing some modern calculation and prediction topic. Just a website like this. Yeah. Yeah, but website was from the master about how the affect phosphate and some aspects and different use ATR, FAR, and get different information, and also 2D course and calculation of the situation. We're very good through this kind of things. Yeah. Another question about PhD. PhD student, we have the fellowship for the internet students from the Ministry of Education. We can get apply this kind of fellowship. This part. Another thing is we can also some get a joint projects we can support and the PhD students such as the NSFC and concepts the projects we can in China side we can get your the money to research in China. So 2 ways to do, and one from the Ministry of the Education, and one from our project to support in PhD.
But if you don't have that, if the students don't have that, they have to pay. How much they have to pay per year or something?
But now we have a lot. We have the internet student from the Argentina students. Yeah, Argentina students. He get the scholarship from the government. I'm not sure how much. Maybe every month, 2,000-3,000 Chinese per month, not like this. Yeah, 2 to 3 Chinese thousand.
This is what they have to pay at the university, or
No pay, just for
they don't pay.
for your accommodation and like for eating like this.
And the graduate student, they have to pay to go to the university?
No pay.
Okay.
No pay. Yeah.
And they have also a fellowship for.
The fellowship simply your living and your food.
They got.
Yeah.
They got the money for going to the university and for staying at the university, for living in the rooms and for food.
Yeah. Mm, yeah. Okay.
Another question. Yeah.
Sorry, the last one, I promise. Regarding the results of the exact measurements about lead absorption on minerals, or you see the spectra of exact measurements, I would like to know if these measurements are in situ, or maybe the absorption occurs and then you recover the solid and then you measure the solid on the synchrotron line. Is what you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. When all the synchrotron equipment was a physical problem. Normally, if the sample is changed is steady, we love to prepare the sample in my laboratory and then move to Beijing or Shanghai to synchrotron. If it's much easier to changeable, you can put all the materials to the synchrotron laboratory and you can do yourself and then to the synchrotron. Yeah, it's can online. It's online.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for us, I also is a very important unit for the synchrotron. And our group is also the member of the Beijing synchrotron. So my delegate sent the big line to do this synchrotron pilot. And then Marcelo, I'm not sure, 4 years ago, you
I was
was yeah, the synchrotron, Beijing synchrotron to some, but in the synchrotron pilot, you hard work, almost a full day, 24 hours, no rest. No sleep. Yeah.
Now you're going to have synchrotron in Wuhan.
Yeah. It's after in 5 years, but there's new synchrotron equipment in Wuhan. Yeah, just far from university 30 kilometers.
30 kilometers diameter.
Kilometers.
Okay.
From the university to the
Yeah.
to synchrotron place.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking about the diameter. No, because the diameter of the ring is, there are some really large. So I confused. Sorry. Okay. Thank you again for your answer.
Yeah.
So we finish now because we have to move.
I was 1 minute.
Okay. Okay.
So just
Tenemos que ir a ver
Just,
al director.
about the PhD program, I was the postdoc position available. So we focus on our Japanese networking and in the substance interaction from Japan prospective application to the nutrition taxi and also carbon sequestration. Another is about the manganese oxide surface biochemistry, which play a major aspect for S science, especially non issue. So we also made result application for plasma pumping, the ground will be 205,000 to 400,000 Chinese yen, roughly make this max 60,000 US dollar roughly. So what's very different? You can do a need here. You can apply some fund to support in the new fund, but the new money for salary, just for salary. So we also help the candidates to apply the Chinese science foundation project. This kind of project, you can money to implement by yourself. We can help you. I now we have 3 projects to do, and one is probably with Professor Marcelo with the National Foundation of China front side, Chinese side, 3 million Chinese next year at the end. I would like to maybe it's very good. Also, yeah. Another is our national key research and development program is from the Ministry of Science and Technology, and this is the big project. The first project I in charge of the project is 65 million Chinese yuan, and when the end of the 2026. And now,
65 million Chinese yuan is $10 million. $10 million. $10 million. Divide by 7. Yes.
对，10 million.
10 million.
Yeah. Exploration from the agriculture, that focus on how to improve the soil fertility and how the soil aggregates actually between the substance and the mineral. About 5 million China just start at the end of the 26. So with some we like to with China, just this is a project support. Also, postdoc will pay you some teacher or staff like you change. We also can support this kind of activity. Thank you.